Good morning, truth. God's purpose for our lives involves two major focuses. One, His purpose in the world to come, and second, His purpose in the present world. God does nothing random or in a haphazard manner, and His purposes extend from eternity past to eternity future, encompassing not only the ultimate destiny of His creation, but our personal lives as well. The transformation process that shapes and prepares us for the world to come takes place in the midst of our daily lives and is multifaceted. It includes family, work, and ministry. Yes, God has a place of service in His kingdom for each of His children, whether they are at the top of society or the bottom or somewhere in between, whether they are educated or illiterate. Every life has a plan, and every plan of God includes God. This past Sunday, the message I delivered was on the importance of reading the Bible for yourself. As you read the Bible, you will see varied examples of how God exemplifies His plans. Just for a moment, consider God's purpose for the prophet Jeremiah. He told Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I consecrated you. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." And please know, God has done the same for you. You have been consecrated and appointed for a good work. Our life's priority and frequent prayer should be for God to fulfill His plans for our lives. What a tragedy it would be to discover at the judgment seat of Christ that we have not fulfilled God's purpose for our lives, although we fulfilled our own. The blueprint for God's plan is detailed in His Word. First, we see He calls us to live with Him in eternity and to glorify Him forever as trophies of His grace and love. The second part of His plan requires us to embrace His grace and His love through faith in Jesus Christ. And finally, He calls us to respond to His grace and wholeheartedly surrender in a pursuit of being Christ-like. God's blueprint is the standard that applies to us all. When we embrace them, only then are we in a position for God to use us to work out His plan in our daily lives. You see, in order for us to fulfill God's purpose for our lives, we have to be willing to accept that He is the divine architect, and only His blueprint can bring us up to code. The major obstacle for us is the process. We usually find that it's too slow, not recognizing that the process draws us closer to Him in prayer. And the process humbles us as we submit to His Word so that He can teach us His ways. God's plans unfolds in the ordinary affairs of our daily lives, and He wants to guide us, especially in the important issues such as which church to join, where we should attend school, what career we should pursue, where we should live, where we should work, whom our close friends should be, whom we should marry, and even when we should retire. Our choices in these matters may seem mundane, but they are not. Not only do they forge the context in which God's plans are worked out, more importantly, they shape our lives and contribute to our transformation. It is an inescapable law of life that we make our choices, then our choices make us. Choices are transformative for good or bad. Every time we make a choice, we are turning the central part of ourselves into something just a little different from what it was before. This is why it is important to seek God's fatherly wisdom and guidance in making transformative decisions. When we seek His wisdom, His word, God says in Psalms 32:8, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. When we seek to fulfill God's plan for our lives over our plans, when we appear before the judgment seat of Christ to give an account for our lives, we will not have to draw back in failure, but we will clearly hear Him say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Remember, when you start your day with truth, blessings throughout the remainder of the day is inevitable.